Every economy is built on a fundamental conflict. Workers demand higher wages to sustain their livelihoods, while firms require profit margins to survive. At the intersection of these two forces lies the structural reality of the labor market.
The WS equals PS condition represents the structural equilibrium of an economy. It is the exact point where workers' real wage demands intersect with the macroeconomic real wage that is implied when firms set their nominal prices.
Imagine a tug-of-war. On the left, the wage-setting relation represents workers demanding higher real wages, but losing leverage as unemployment rises. On the right, the price-setting relation represents the macroeconomic real wage implied when firms set nominal prices as a markup over labor costs, which is independent of the unemployment rate.
Mathematically, the wage-setting relation defines the real wage, W over P, as productivity, A, times a function of the unemployment rate, U, and labor market conditions, Z. Meanwhile, the price-setting relation establishes the implied real wage as labor productivity, A, divided by 1 plus the markup, M. Because productivity appears in both equations, changes in productivity shift both curves proportionally.
When we set these two equations equal to each other, we solve for U sub n, the natural rate of unemployment. Actual unemployment frequently falls below this natural rate in the short run during economic expansions. However, keeping unemployment below this structural baseline leads to accelerating inflation, which is why the natural rate is also known as the non-accelerating inflation rate of unemployment.
Real-world policies and economic shifts change this balance. For example, if a government introduces more generous unemployment benefits, workers have more bargaining power, shifting the wage curve up. If monopolies form, firms raise their markups, shifting the price-setting curve down, which lowers the implied real wage. However, a technological boom increasing labor productivity shifts both the price-setting and wage-setting curves up proportionally. These shifts cancel each other out, leaving the natural rate of unemployment completely unchanged in the long run.
While the model equates these relations, wage and price setting in the real world are typically staggered, not instantaneous. Workers often negotiate long-term annual wage contracts, whereas firms adjust their prices much more frequently. The WSPS framework describes a medium-run equilibrium where these macroeconomic forces eventually balance out, rather than a synchronous real-time process. Together, these structural forces dictate the natural rate of unemployment toward which the entire system gravitates.